Welcome back. That's my cat. We are going to be going over specifically Pokemon Legends Z to A. They released a extended look at the video, so we're gonna take a gander at that and break down. There's gonna be a lot of pausing in between, so just bear with. We're going to basically break down what we see, what's going to be added, features that aren't in current games that are going to be in this game, Pokemons that we see that are in the trailer that are going to be officially in the game, and we're going to go over the characters, basically filling the gap of what the story is, kind of, because we do know that this is technically a futuresque, like in the future Pokemon game, but we know some of the characters, like AZ, who was first appeared in Pokemon X and Y, and we haven't seen Pokemon X and Y since we had the Nintendo 3DS, which was not recently. So we're going to go over the characters, the big kind of lore behind it, who AZ is, why he is as tall as Slender Man, and yeah, we're going to dive right into it. First, we're going to go over to the video that they released for the extended look, and then just kind of pause periodically to go over the features.
Pokemon Legends ZA is a new title in the Pokemon series. The story takes place in Lumiose City, the largest city in the Kalos region. Prism Tower stands tall at the center of this city of beautiful vistas.
So, just for reference on how large it is, they released this picture. Where'd it go? They released this picture earlier of, can I zoom in? I can. Of Lumiose City. They posted this, and it kind of looks like we have like outbreaks of what, and we get a little bit more of a look on some of the Pokemon that are confirmed are going to be in the game. We knew we were getting Swablu, Chandelure. Now we have Pikachu. There's Houndour, Magikarp, so we know Gyarados is going to be in it. Talonflame. That looks like Gagoat. Starmie. This gives us basically a lot of information, but showing where they are kind of makes it look like it's a little bit like an outbreak map. Obviously, this is not translated, so we don't know exactly what this says, but they posted this pretty much right after the video finished this morning.
These days, Lumiose is undergoing a high-tech urban redevelopment plan to turn it into a city that people and Pokemon truly share. After you arrive in Lumiose City to see the sights, you'll meet 3 Pokemon, one of which will become your first partner: Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile.
Which is funny that they have these 3 starters. 2 out of the 3 starters are Gen 2 starters. So it's not even like they pulled from different generations. Totodile and Chikorita are from the same series. They're from the same generation. They're both Gen 2 starters. And then we have Tepig. Like, okay. And I understand, like, why would we have Cyndaquil? I don't think it would make sense for us to have Cyndaquil. We had Cyndaquil in Legends of Arceus, who then got a new typing, a regional form. As he was Typhlosion, he was a fire ghost. So I'm sure we're going to get regional forms. At the very least, we're going to get mega forms for these, because the whole gimmick of this one is mega evolutions.
You'll choose one of these Pokemon to accompany you on a new journey as you get to know Lumiose City and its inhabitants. Here are some of the colorful characters
So this guy right here, the reason why he's so old is because he's over 3,000 years old. That's AZ. That is we met him in X and Y, saw that he was, this bogs down to, like, a lot of people don't realize that Pokemon has got this deep, rich lore that unless you're talking to NPCs and you're, like, remembering the dialogue, there was a huge war that happened. And AZ was part of the war. He was creating a weapon, like a massive weapon that would kill a lot of humans because he was pissed that his partner Pokemon died. And then
You'll
you're
encounter.
like, you go through the story.
When you arrive in Lumiose,
It's a whole
you'll meet
thing.
a new friend and ally.
That is,
either Urbane
these two
or Tawny.
is your
The hotel
allies.
where you'll be
Yeah, look at how tall this man is. You want the Slenderman type, like why?
Is run by AZ. You'll also meet his partner.
Yeah,
Fouette.
that's why it says Eternal Flower. They both are just, they're old because they were 3,000 plus years old.
Lumiose's redevelopment is being managed by Quasartico Inc. You'll become acquainted with the company's CEO Jet and her secretary Vinny. The different people you meet will make your time in Lumiose all the richer.
So this is a really cool thing that they're
People
adding.
and Pokemon coexist. The city has set up wild zones. These areas,
like this.
located throughout Lumiose, give wild Pokemon habitats where they can thrive. To
This
catch
kind of
one
makes me
these
feel
wild
like
Pokemon, aim carefully.
routes.
Then throw a Pokeball.
Like when you're playing the 8-bit game or 16-bit game or whatever, and you're in a town, Pokemon don't spawn. But when you go into the routes, wild zones, you start spawning. That's pretty much what that is. I really like that it's like a 3D element to that.
If you're having a hard time catching one, have one of your Pokemon use its moves to weaken the
So this one was really interesting that we saw. So we see his health is gone. He's got stars around. You're pretty much fainting the Pokemon and then catching it, which hasn't, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, hasn't happened. When you faint a Pokemon, you faint it. Like, KO. Done. Wait for it to respawn. This one, you KO it in the wild, and then you can catch it as it's dazed.
weaken the target, making
It does look like we also get a experience share-esque, so it kind of like an Arceus. If they're in your party, everyone gets the experience boost, which I like.
it easier to catch. This game offers a style of Pokemon battling not seen in previous titles.
The battling is pretty nice. Notice how
Longer or
Totodile is moving with you. So he's kind of not necessarily Arceus, more Scarlet Violet, where if you move, it moves with you. And you're able to actually dodge attacks. So you're going to see, I've already seen memes on Twitter of people like, oh, playing Pokemon Legends Arceus, and then they have the image of Piccolo from Dragon Ball just screaming, dodge! I love that. And that's pretty much what it is. Look at the panic in Totodile's face right now.
shorter reach, or different areas of effect. So choose your timing and positioning carefully to gain
So
the
you can
upper
physically
hand.
dodge attacks now, which is a first.
Lead your partner Pokemon through battles and dodge incoming attacks. Swap Pokemon if you need to and find the right
See, this makes me feel like there's not going to be overworld size variations, because this looks mighty small for an Onix. Like, we all know Onix is this massive Pokemon. So it makes me feel like they're going to have a uniform overworld look to it, but maybe their stats are going to be different.
moment to unleash a move. What's more, certain Pokemon
There's
can
the
go
Mega
beyond
Evolutions.
evolution by undergoing Mega Evolution. When a trainer's keystone resonates with the Mega Stone held by their Pokemon, the Pokemon will do more than just change shape. It'll unlock a new level of power, turning the tide of battle in its favor.
What was that? What was just in his party? So Umbreon was at his party. Who's in his party when he's with... Okay, so he has Charizard, Chandelure, Sylveon, Claunter, Furfrou, Weepinbell. Okay.
In its favor. As Lumiose continues its transformation into a city
This
that
Gyarados,
belongs to both
Inkay.
people and Pokemon, who knows what kinds of encounters and experiences will await you.
So this is going to be the more tedious thing. If you guys didn't play X and Y, you had to go through and find these Zygarde cells, and they look just like this. These Zygarde cells. Which I don't think it was X and Y. Was it X and Y? I don't think. Why do I feel like it was also Sun and Moon? Maybe it was X and Y. Um, but Zygarde cells. So this is pretty much what you have to go look for. And they, as you get more
Pokemon
Zygarde
Legends
cells,
ZA,
they look different.
coming late 2025.
Which we pretty much, it's like November is what we're thinking. And then whatever this is, this was a very, like, so one thing that we've noticed is the Rotom phones have gotten an upgrade. They look more, they have like camera iPhones now. Notice how it's got the three cameras? Normally they only have the one lens. Now they have the three lenses like traditional iPhones do, or like the iPhone 16 does. So the Rotoms are upgrading. So this is very cryptic. They didn't even like touch on this at all. This is a promotional match announcement. They didn't even like, oh, by the way, this is a feature. Like, no. Like, they did this and then ended the event. Which is just like, okay, lit. So, one of my cats is at my feet playing with one of my hair ties. So we'll break down pretty much what we've seen. I really like the map. So we see the mini map on the top left, and the green areas is going to be pretty much the wild areas. I like that you can also see. You kind of see off the distance, and we've seen it like right here.
That's where
These green walls are barricading between like wild zones and I guess like the safe zones to where battle won't occur. So it's going to be really interesting to see. One of the other things that we've noticed is the moves have a cooldown. So look at Leaf Edge right here. They have a cooldown to make it more MMO. So you can't just like, oh, it's turn-based, like I go, they go, I go, they go. Now it's like I do Leaf Edge, and then I can immediately do Razor Leaf, and it's just a back and forth, like we're shifting out of the way, doing an attack. But also, so this is Chikorita. Chikorita is a grass type, doesn't know fairy type moves. Why does this Chikorita have disarming voice? That's not a moveset that he can learn. Chikorita's level 15. Does not know a fairy type. So we think that the dual typing for the Mega Evolution for Chikorita is they're going to dual type it into being, whether it be a regional form or its Mega Evolution, it's going to dual type into a fairy, which will be pretty interesting.
use its moves to weaken the target.
So I think also we could take a note how easy it is for like the game's telling you like, oh, this is going to be an easy catch. These arrows. So the more arrows it is, the more likely it is for you to catch it, which is like a good indicator. If you're looking at a Pokemon or you lock on, it has like some sort of emblem, you're looking at it, it's going to tell you, okay, it's been caught. Or you can catch it with whatever you have equipped, which I don't see anywhere yet, which it looks like we have a bag quick menu on the bottom left, but otherwise there's not really a... Oh, right here. Perfect. So with a Pokeball, we can see that it's going to be pretty easy to catch. We can swap between them. Can I turn off? No, I think it's just on. But I do like that experience share is still uniform all around. Like we even have more. This is the level 4. Pretty early on. It's going to tell you that it's going to be easier to catch. I like that. I like the visual representation to be like, okay, you can go this. It's not, this is going to be an easy catch. Go for it.
One of these wild Pokemon, aim carefully, then throw a Pokeball.
I like the registered. I like this where it pops on the screen, registered number 10 in the Pokedex. I like that. I like that a lot.
If you're having a hard time catching it,
Also, look at the characters. So the swapping between the different, we can tell there's different people playing because the different characters. But we're swapping between. It looks like there's a lot of character customization. The shoes, we've got a bag on their hip, the jacket, the pants, the hat. It looks like there's a lot of character customization, which I really like.
have one of your Pokemon use its moves to weaken the target, making it easier to catch.
Picasso.
This game offers a style
So we know that this right here is one of the, I guess they're calling it a friend, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be like choose your rival, which would be pretty interesting.
of Pokemon battling not seen in previous titles.
I do like this
Moves
a lot. I like the lock on. We got the audio with the lock on. It shows how many Pokemon they have at the very top when you're engaged in an actual battle. I like that a lot. A lot. The UI is going to teach us a lot. It's pretty interesting that we're also getting a event list, pretty much. We can see on the right-hand side, the enemy Tepig is doing a rollout, and it says rollout in the middle of, like, it's calling out what they're doing. So we're not only going to be able to see the Pokemon do the move, but it's going to have, like, an event list of, like, Tepig use this, and then Totodile use this, and we can counter it. Like, that's going to be pretty interesting. I can see that being a really good strat as well.
can have a longer or shorter reach, or different areas of effect.
Yeah, see, there's the event. Totodile's use water gun. I like that a lot.
So choose your timing and positioning carefully to gain the upper hand.
Picasso. So this looks like they're pretty late in the game. We went from level 15 to level 44, so they're pretty late in the game. Shifts through it. So 44, Onyx, Talonflame. They have a goat. I mean that they have two of those Pokemon. The last two can be Mega Evolved. I'm curious to see how they're going to determine what Mega Evolution gets what. Like, for example, we've seen Charizard have his Mega Evolution.
Your partner Pokemon through battles and dodge incoming attacks.
Like, where's Charizard?
Swap Evolution.
That Charizard doesn't have one Mega. Charizard is one of those to where it was Charizard Y and Charizard X. So he had two depending on which Mega Stone he was holding. So I'm curious to see if they're going to do this is what you get, or you can equip it to a certain one because all the starters. Well, I don't think all the starters had a different one. I think Charizard was the only one that had an X and Y. But it's going to be pretty interesting.
When a trainer's keystone resonates with the Megastone held by their Pokemon, the Pokemon will do more than just change shape.
Absol is still one of my favorite. One of the things that you see right here, so when you're Mega Evolved, we can see they have a lot of Dragon time. I'm looking at their party as well just to see. It does look like we can see when a Pokemon is holding an item. So we have Absol on the left-hand side. His ID shows he's holding the Mega Stone for Absol, the Mega Stone for Absol. But we have his moveset right here when he's Mega Evolved. It's now Night/C+. I wonder if they're all going to be C+, or if the stronger the move, the better the grade. If there's some sort of training that they can do for these moves. We also have this energy bar for EX, or for Mega Evolve, so like absorbing the energy. That'll be pretty interesting to see how long it takes to have that meter fill to where you can Mega Evolve.
Of power, turning the tide of battle in its favor. As Lumiose continues its transformation into a city that belongs to both people and Pokemon, who knows what...
See the map, we can see right here. This map is massive. So we're looking at it and like, okay, yes, it's Lumiose City. We're going through, it's just where it seems like we're just in this sandbox terrain, but it's massive. I have no doubt that we're not going to have an issue of, oh, we've circled the map, but there's nothing there. I feel like this is going to be a very large terrain that they have thought about, because we have Legends Arceus. We had like 5 different places that we could fast travel to, but they were all pretty close. This one, I feel like it's just, we have this one big city, unless they have like little quests that go outside of the city, because we do see a couple roads that lead outside. But for the most part, it looks like we're just going to be in Lumiose City, which I'm okay with. This looks absolutely massive.
Who knows what kinds of encounters and experiences will await you.
There's this cell.
Pokemon Legends Z.
I know. I don't think they showed it in this trailer. They had Zygarde at like 10%. shown off. He was just sitting on a rooftop, but I don't think it was in this extended look. So we do know that we're going to get different. We're going to have the forms. We don't necessarily, other than Zygarde, we don't know what legendary this is focusing on. Because I know when we had Arceus, we had the 4 legendaries. We had Dialga, Palkia, we had Giratina, and we had Arceus. We had the pillars, the creations of the world. This one, it had, when we were dealing in Lumio City and X and Y, we had Exernus and Yveltal and Zygarde, but we haven't seen anyone other than Zygarde being really shown.
If you're having to catch one of these wild Pokemon,
all in all, it's going to be a fantastic game. We know there's a lot being shown. A lot of people are absolutely, I'm excited for it. I'm pretty sure this is still going to be, since it is a Legends, they're not going to be adding a multiplayer aspect to it. Like, we're not going to be able to buddy up like in Scarlet and Violet. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be a little bit different. Maybe that very cryptic thing we got at the very end, because this is the tower in Lumio City. Maybe we're going to get something different. Maybe this is teasing like someone is challenging you to a 1v1. You could battle your friends. We can go through, or your friends can join you and go through the wild zones. Who knows? Because we don't. This is literally our first. But as more information comes on, once we get a pretty lump sum of information, if it's small information, I feel like you guys need to know about it. I'll make TikToks about it. Otherwise, I'll gather the information as the months come, because it's breaching the end of February. This isn't going to release till like, our guesstimation is like November, because it just said late 2025. But we'll see. We'll have a more concrete release date after the Nintendo Direct in April, because that's why if you watched the Pokemon Presents today, they said the Nintendo Switch families, because they've revealed that we have a Switch 2, but they haven't really dove into what's coming out on Switch 2, what's being enhanced on Switch 2. They won't do that until after Nintendo Direct in April, because that's where they're going to be showcasing the Switch 2. So we'll see. But I appreciate everybody hanging out. Be sure you like the video. Be sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces!